already said them. Well,
what about now?
Welcome everyone to What If Wednesday. It's back. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm going to be drawing. Not drawing.
Now I can't see the comments.
I'm going to be coloring.
It's nothing.
Jesus.
Well,
Let me know if I'm too loud.
I don't think that can be helped.
Okay, that's not what I want. There's that. No, that's not what I wanted. What If Wednesday. We're back. I'm pulling up the picture that I've been coloring in.
I'm watching this on your account.
Why are you doing this to me, Mason?
Shield your eyes. Don't look at all the other pictures that aren't ready for people to see.
For view. Okay. All right. It's doing it. Mm-hmm. What is the post-apocalyptic scenario?
You know, I was trying to figure that out earlier.
Really?
Yeah, because we're not going to throw them in Walking Dead. They'll be fine.
Right.
Maybe something more like 28 days later type of thing.
Okay. So it's a zombie scenario.
Danger, or, well, see, I was going to say, yeah. Or Fallout.
Or Fallout?
Which, technically, there's still zombies in Fallout.
There are technically zombies in Fallout.
Yeah, something where it's like, this Walking Dead is like, oh, I mean, we could really just clear out all these zombies and bring the world back in order.
Yeah. Okay, so we could talk about several scenarios, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we could start with the Fallout one. At first, I was gonna say like War of the Worlds type situation. Omniverse all collapse into one. Oof. Just all the worst case scenario apocalyptic movies in one thing. All right, so like I don't know.
Fallout nukes with zombies,
Cloverfield,
with actual zombies, and Cloverfield aliens come crashing down to Earth to eat your brains. I don't
Jesus.
know why the aliens are eating your brains.
Okay, so let's take I was gonna say War of the Worlds, right? What the only weakness that the aliens seemingly had was water.
Then it turns into Jet Li in the one issue where they kill all the cops.
Chill.
Oh snap! What's that called?
The One?
Oh yeah. No, sorry.
Yeah, that's called The One.
I'm tired.
I know you are. But yo, that'd be epic. So okay, we'll start with the easy one first. Let's say zombie apocalypse, and then move our way. We'll move our way up. She's grabbing her charger, right? So if we're gonna talk zombies, we'll talk the varyings of it.
Real quick, I had this thing earlier too, where it's like we have two options where we can take their whole personality and drop them in there without powers.
Ooh.
Or we can let them keep their powers and see how they handle the pressure.
Okay.
What happens if we don't pre-write a script?
I mean, but we usually do our best work without scripts. All right. So, in case you guys didn't hear what she said, we could take their powers away and see who would kind of crack under the pressure first, or allow them to keep their powers and still throw them in these scenarios. What'll be interesting? So again, we'll start with the generic zombie scenario. Night of the Living Dead type zombies, that's light work for them, right? That's not really going to change anything. But when Walking Dead works because everybody, spoiler alert for Walking Dead, but...
Does anyone care anymore?
No, I don't think anybody cares.
And also, are we talking about the comic?
The comic and or show. Everybody's infected. So when they die...
If you don't know that already, you wasn't planning on watching Walking Dead.
Right, because that's season 1 stuff.
Season 1.
Yeah. When you die, you turn into one. So, with that being said, now they're still slow and stuff like that. We'll start with my boy Soul, Tasha.
Still, the reason I thought that Walking Dead wouldn't pose too much of an issue is because they can regulate that.
They could regulate that. But, let's say, for the sake of conversation, Walking Dead zombies happen. Pharaoh Industries. He said, I care. Wow. Man, come on now. Walking Dead been coming on about as long as me and Tasha been together now.
Almost.
Just about, yeah. But,
as long as your nephew's been alive.
As long as my nephew's been alive? Yeah, that's true. But yeah. Let's say that the zombie outbreak pops off at Pharaoh Industries.
Well, that's just weird.
Right? We say that it's Masterson's fault and all that good stuff. We know the inside knowledge of that. And within the facility, things are going crazy. People are reanimating. How does Soul and Taharka take it? Taharka snaps immediately, honestly.
Well, I was going to ask about that. I was like,
he's going to panic.
Taharka would be okay, because even in what we know what we know about Taharka and what we know is actually going to happen and be caused by Master Chief. Yes. He doesn't want to,
Now, I guess I need to say briefly about some of these characters. So, Soul, of course, obviously is this gentleman here that I'm going to be coloring. He's got 2 Egyptian deities in him, wonderful, Aman and Ra. He's got the powers, none of the knowledge. So he's got super strength, durability, all this other stuff, and he's able to call down essentially the energy and power from the sun and harness that, which we'll start to talk about what the damage that can be done from just him harnessing that at a later time. But, so he's pretty solid, right? But his friend, which you'll actually get an introduction to in the...
next issue.
Not next issue that's about to drop, but the issue after that. Alongside of Ezekiel A. Blood, right? They'll both pop up in the same issue, which would be issue 3. Taharka owns a company called Pharaoh. And so basically this kind of philanthropy organization that helps the African diaspora, right? And so within that facility, anything from health, learning your ancestry, he can damage himself harnessing the powers. No, he can't damage himself utilizing the powers, but the things around him he could damage, right? Imagine pulling the full force of the energy that's coming towards Earth, right? All the sunlight, all that energy, immediately coming down to Earth into this one person. How much heat is radiating off of him? Right, I have it written where, him walking while harnessing that much power is melting the ground beneath him. And so it does to an extent hurt him. It's very strenuous right now for him to harness his power. So I have the next issue is getting colored in now. But when he's reaching up and getting, matter of fact, if you in issue 1, in Tales from Manila issue 1, in the Soul issue, when he gets the energy in one hand and he allows it to transfer over and he shoots it out the other hand. He's got to let it spread out, because if it's in one spot too long for him, it is a lot of pressure for him. It's a lot to hold in. And so that's why he usually just shoots it out as a blast immediately and not necessarily hold it on his body. Now, of course, the intention later on is for him to get stronger and be able to withstand that kind of pressure. But as of right now, and of course that's all we could do in regards to, what we have right now. This is Arc 1 Soul. Arc 1 Soul, that's it. What we've shown is about it. The only thing that we're taking the liberty on is some of the side characters that you guys haven't seen yet. Yeah. Excuse me. And so Taharka, again, he owns a company called Pharaoh. This entire place, this location is based in Atlanta. And so again, the whole point is to help the African diaspora, right? So again, whether it's helping people with their health, ancestry, getting back on their feet financially, housing, whether it's they want to live outside of this place or within the facilities that they provide. Again, the idea, so Taharka, that's his whole mission. He grew up in this. His family is a part of this organization. And again, we'll talk about that as we explore what Pharaoh is more in depth. But his family is rooted in this organization and the mission of helping people. So a zombie outbreak takes place here. Pharaoh Industries gets hit first with the zombie outbreak. That is ground zero. Tasha, what do you think happens? Based on what we know about Taharka, how it pans
Taharka
out.
Doesn't count though.
Well, I mean,
because otherwise
he counts based on his relationship to Soul and how Soul would then react, right? In extension, I mean, he would start beating up zombies, but Taharka would be unable to. And then his dad lives in the facilities too, so he would kind of be like, "Oh snap, I gotta go find my dad." Yeah. Is Taharka gonna close the place up? To
save the outside, probably. Mm-hmm. Probably.
But it's ground zero, so he closes it up, and now it's isolated inside of the facilities.
Taharka tends to be quite selfless.
Mm-hmm.
He would close it.
He wouldn't want to kill anybody.
He wouldn't want to kill anybody. No, that's what I was saying earlier.
We would have an immediate argument. Once it's like there's nothing we could do for him. We might have to off these people.
That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, I know he wouldn't want to kill anybody when I was still walking back to my seat.
Mm-hmm.
I know he wouldn't want to kill anybody. So now we're looking at, okay, so how does Soul end up being able to kill everybody other than just killing everybody?
Right. I think this puts a nice little handicap on the boy Soul. Because for the sake of Taharka, there's no outside source that's, there's no Sonura, for the sake of conversation for me and you here, that's going to convince him hey, your friend might not know what he's talking about. It's just Taharka, Soul, and his dad.
Well, I say right now the voice of reason is going to have to be Soul's dad.
Right, but
He
Soul's...
tends to be a decent voice of reason.
Yeah, that's true.
He thinks logically in crazy situations.
Oh, that's right. I was going to plug into your computer, but...
Yeah. You were.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think... he said that's true. I didn't think about that. That was for the powers thing. But yeah, I think, unfortunately, if we keep this isolated to Pharaoh Industries, Taharka's going to get them all killed.
Probably. But see, here's the thing about that. If we keep it isolated, how do we end up putting everybody else in this incident?
Well, they're going to fail. And Ezekiel A. Blur's going to get out and accidentally let all the rest of the zombies out.
You putting this on check? Rude.
I feel like what'll end up happening, and I don't even, again, I know we're supposed to also talk about who would crack first.
I was going to say, that was the thing. Who would crack first, not who would die first.
Yeah, but, I accidentally
Honestly.
transformed it into that. I think in this scenario, if it ends
Well,
up
that's
being a
because you
ground
made it that scenario.
Yeah.
Who would die first, and then you threw it in Pharaoh, where there's only one option, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he'd end up essentially being like the Hulk or the crap, what's his name? Peter.
Peter?
Not Peter Parker.
Quill?
No.
Okay.
X-Men.
X-Men.
Metal Skin.
Colossus.
Yes, thank you, Jesus Christ.
Now, if you look at Marvel
'Cause we're all
Zombies,
trying to figure out,
Colossus
how did
got
Colossus
infected too.
Get bit? How did Hulk get bit? Like, we were all trying
As
to
Banner,
figure that out. Free
Wasp.
them all!
Wasp could have
Yes,
gotten
but
Colossus.
why did he unbanner? They never explained how Colossus got.
He probably was already Banner and got caught off guard.
Wait, exactly.
He said, wait, I'm going to start the apocalypse? Unfortunately, yes. But it gives us a good time period to do that, right? And then just do the whole universe at one point. Story at a time, whatever. Alright, so that's the scenario we placed on Soul. I think in that scenario, a zombie scenario, in Pharaoh, my boy, it's Soul gets killed. Because what'll happen is they'll argue. Taharka will be like, no, we have to save these people. That's the point of all of this. We have to find a cure. We have to do this, and this. There might be some argument between, again, Taharka and Soul's dad. Soul's dad will get bit in the ensuing argument, not paying attention and all this other stuff. And Soul, not paying attention to the fact or not knowing the fullness of this virus, will get killed by his own father before he can put up anything. And then he'll die, and if he gets infected, then, now we really have trouble. I didn't die, and then you go to place that evil on me. What? Now you can come back, right?
Rude.
Atoning for this accidental apocalypse that you started.
Rude.
He's on a mission to atone for his past mistakes.
Who is he? Poopy Pants?
No.
Yes, I know his name is Dookie Stain.
No.
I just don't care.
All right, we also got to talk about Dookie Stain in this scenario too, because he's
Well, he doesn't.
He's
Can't
canon.
even die in this scenario.
He can die in this scenario if he has no poop. If he's constipated, he's screwed. Dookie Stain loses because it's that time of the year where he's constipated, and I'm stop. All right, anyway, in case you guys don't know who Dookie Stain is, that's a community character creation night thing. We'll talk about that at a later point too. But okay, moving
All right,
this whole
so
thing
are we
to
still on
we'll talk about all that.
on point, or are we moving off to who dies?
No, well, let's go back to who would snap first. All right. I don't think Soul would snap immediately until it
I
starts
don't
staying
think
home.
anyone would snap immediately, depending on where we are in the story.
Iabani would.
So first off, okay, Iabani.
Iabani wouldn't make it.
Izanagi, Izanami, they're like, another day in the office.
I was saying, let's just start with that first row. Admani's snapping early.
Again, that's why I said depends on where we are in the story.
He's on a mission with his past mistakes. One pin in a pocket protector at a time. He's saving the known world.
Adding up pocket change at any time.
Oh my god. He's gonna be like that guy from the Twilight Zone. There was time now.
It's one of my favorite episodes, mostly because I feel his pain.
But yeah, I think again, Soul's not snapping initially. I think he will have a breakdown the moment inevitably when Taharka and
And or his dad. Something happens.
And his dad dies. His dad survived some bullcrap, which y'all will see in the next issue, right?
That's true.
But he...
Still an old man.
You said what?
So he's still an old man.
He's still... Right, he's an older dude. Yeah, he's, yeah. He's an older dude. I think, yeah, again, Soul is going to fail because he's been so dependent on the two of them. So if one of them dies, he'll be okay. But both of them die, and we have a lot of moments when Taharka and Soul's dad, Clay, his name's Clayton. Clayton and Taharka kind of bump heads a lot.
Clayton.
And Soul kind of ends up either being the voice of reason or the tiebreaker in most arguments. But in this, again, with the entire mission of Pharaoh being, cast aside, everybody in there is dying and all this other stuff, and they have to make a decision on taking these people out and don't even bother making a cure and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of mistakes made, and they both will die. And in that event, Soul is...
if it starts in Pharaoh Industries, yes.
Yeah. Now, if it doesn't start in Pharaoh Industries...
If we take it in a sense where it doesn't start in there so that we can see everybody in real time together...
Yeah.
Then we have to see. That's why I said...
in real time together.
Maybe not. Maybe they're not all together. Maybe they're with different groups, but everybody's in the midst of the apocalypse trying to survive. Like...
Okay, I got
Who's gonna have to make the ultimate choice to kill a living being when all of them are essentially, most of them, not all of them, essentially sworn to protect people.
Yeah.
Or have sworn to protect people.
All right, I got you then with that scenario in mind. Okay, so it doesn't start in Pharaoh Industries, and Pharaoh's like, well, we have to help our folks that's out there trapped in this. They're like what the Commonwealth was supposed to be.
Ha.
Right? They're the Commonwealth in this scenario. If you haven't watched Walking Dead or read Walking Dead, essentially the Commonwealth is one of those few communities that had thousands upon thousands of people. So they still had sports,
government.
They had a government in place. They had restaurants. They had
dismantle it.
They still had fairs, carnivals, and stuff. Like I said, the whole sports team. They had tens of thousands of people. They had tens of thousands of people still in that facility. So
it doesn't like it.
We'll say that then. Pharaoh Industries is acting as such, and Soul.
I know why you're lingering here, but let's move on.
All right, so
let's establish where everyone is and what everyone is doing. Right.
Okay, so we know with the butterfly and the blue morpho. At this point, the butterfly is in her. What's the point? In case you don't know who the butterfly is, that's our character. Yes. So the butterfly at this point, again, if we're putting everybody in the same universe and trying to solidify a specific point in time, right, and going based on kind of the dates that we have established for everybody's individual universe, the butterfly would approximately be entering her 50s. Not saying people aren't in shape in their 50s and not capable in their 50s, but they're certainly not as capable as they were in their 20s and 30s. So I don't expect her to do too much flipping around. But she still is able to fight. I say all that to say that she's still going to be able to fight and kick butt. The Blue Morpho will probably be in her 30s. Like 30 something at this point. So she's still kind of in that prime age there. They aren't scared to kill. In issue 0, she gets captured, tortured, and she breaks free. So, with that being said, they're not scared to kill living people. So, they're already kind of living a nomadic lifestyle, being vigilantes and technically on the run. Being a vigilante is against the law anyway. That's against the law any doggone way.
That's true.
So they're on the run. They can't have a normal life. They're not living. So they're living a nomadic lifestyle already, living on the road and all that other good stuff. Mm-hmm. So they are in. We'll say they're in Atlanta as well. Let's just keep everybody in.
That's what I'm gonna say. Let's just somehow put everybody in Atlanta. Somehow they all ended up.
They're all in Atlanta.
Everybody ended up in Atlanta somehow on The Walking Dead, and then somehow everybody ended up in the same place after they lost the prison. Look, it is what it is.
All right. So boom, they're all in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Oh, like that one scene later on, the whole sun compass thing.
Okay, so anyway.
So instead of that happening, a zombie stumbles across the road.
Okay, so anyway. Everybody's in Atlanta.
Okay, you set it up, and I'll say who cracks, because I feel like I'm trying to dive too heavily in it, and I'm giving too many spoilers.
All I said is everybody's shoot. Some people cannot be in Atlanta. They don't all have to run into each other.
Okay.
But anyway, actually, you know what? Great place for them. They can be in New Mexico somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
close to Mexico. They live in Mexico.
Okay.
So they can have a little small community where they're at. And then we have a zombie thing happening since we're doing zombie right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how long do you think they would go before? Because they have no problem killing live people. Killing zombies, no problem. But
I don't think they do.
You don't think? Well,
I don't
have
think
a problem killing zombies. Now they can't just go out there and be like, yeah, because they don't have powers.
No, but they're proficient with weaponry.
Yeah.
I feel like they would. They're one of the few characters, normal characters, that I don't feel like snaps in this scenario.
I don't think they snap. That's not what I was saying.
I
was just saying, how long do you think before they have to run into an issue that they have to deal with? That's something that they may not be comfortable with. That's what I was trying to say.
They lived their whole lives in an uncomfortable predicament.
That's true.
I feel like, take this for what you would, I think it would make life a lot easier for them for this to happen. They're not having to, they already live life looking over their shoulder. Yeah. Right?
In this case, with technology,
there's no secret organization.
You don't have to worry about running and hiding. No one can find them.
Right.
And they'll just do exactly what they've always been doing.
Right.
Moving from place to place, community to community, making new friends along the way, and dealing with loss if someone dies, but something, again, that they're accustomed to.
Exactly. So I don't
snap, so they're definitely not the first to snap.
Right. So I think they make it. I don't think there's a real uncomfortable scenario for them per se. Yeah. Of course, we know throughout the course of their story they dealt with the community. They have that organization that they meet up with anyway.
They get worst. They get comfortable someplace, and they're with people that they've known for a long time.
I don't know that they would get comfortable.
I know. I said in worst case they get comfortable, but then they just have to deal with it and move on. And they would just deal with it and move on.
Yeah. So again, as you see in the first issue of the.
Hold on to things.
Yeah, you see in the first issue of the Butterfly, or the first issue of the Blue Morpho, the end of an era issue, where she has her daughter Yara, the Blue Morpho. So they already know, like, we tried living a comfortable life, living a normal life already, right? We can't do that again. So I don't, 9 times out of 10 in regards to these characters who will move on, I don't think there's going to be a case where they're like, yay, there's a chance, there's hope again to live normally. They had that, and it still ended up being terrible, rough. They still ran into all these issues, these life-threatening issues anyway, that threw them into the fray. So, with that being said, I don't see the Blue Morpho or the Butterfly cracking, even if one of them... If the Blue Morpho ended up dying, the Butterfly would snap. More in anger, and go just trust nobody, kill everything, any and anybody that came through, trust no one. I guess that would be a form of cracking, but I don't think, she's not going to have a whole breakdown, do like Carol in the comics of Walking Dead and be like, I'm going to feed myself to the zombies, there's no point in living. She would just be so full of rage. And we do see hints of that throughout the course of her story, but she would be so fueled with rage that she would just be blinded by it. So that's what would happen if Yara died, but I can't imagine in this scenario Yara dying before her mom. There's no way. There's no way. And really quick, in case you guys don't know, Yara, the Blue Morpho, she's a gymnast, so she's very capable, she's very agile, very swift on her feet. And her mother, we don't, in the Butterfly books that came out in the 70s, we really don't get any inkling as to where she trained, how she's so nimble, how she's such a good fighter, any of that. We don't get any of that. So, of course, obviously, we've created something on the side for her. But based on the issues that we already have out, we don't really delve into that. She's just really good with her hands and very nimble. She's fitted with a jetpack, a tranquilizer gun, the eyes on the eyes on the Blue Morpho's helmet, and the wings that the Butterfly initially sports have these strobe lights on it to disorient any enemies and stuff like that. Will that work on zombies? No. And we'll move on from the zombie talk in a second and talk about maybe like aliens from something or another. We'll talk about the xenomorphs from Aliens. We'll talk about that. We've got time. We won't ramble too much, but we've got time to talk about multiple enemies, right? But no, the only person I imagine cracking, and that's only if Yara dies somehow, would be Marianne. But it would be a rage-filled snap where she would just go on this massive killing spree against anybody that threatens whatever sanctuary they may have created. But she'd be very jaded and angry. But outside of that, I don't see them cracking as long as the two of them survive. I didn't
realize we were still going to be here when I got back.
Yeah. And Monty, that's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be up to where we are in the story.
Yeah.
To essentially figure out how long it would take her to crack and why she would crack.
I don't think it would take long for her to crack. I think the moment...
in the beginning of the story, yes.
Yeah. I think the issue is going to be, like, the moment this stuff pops off, and much like any scenario, the moment a family member gets attacked, I think in a panic, because it's going to be so overwhelming for her. And in case you guys don't know, she has fire powers, but, like, she's, like, terrified of these powers. Right? And so...
on top of dealing with multiple mental health and neurodivergency issues. Like,
right. So, like, in a state of panic, I feel like she would accidentally set off her flames and then unintentionally hurt
somebody,
the people around her, including her loved ones. And in that moment, like, immediately, like, done. Like, okay, maybe the initial panic, like, oh my gosh, people are getting up and eating each other. She's fine then. But, like, oh no, we're completely surrounded by these things. Fine. Yeah. Like, we're surrounded by these things. It's seemingly no way out, right? Like, oh no, how are we going to break through the situation? We got to fight, da-da-da-da. I imagine her almost breathing heavy, hyperventilating almost, trying to think of what to do panic attack. And while she's so focused on the panic attack and not seeing anything around her, everything else is around in flames. And everybody dies, except for her. And she's just sitting there in a pile of ash, including the zombies.
She can't be killed by
fire.
She
looks up, right, she can't be killed by fire. And she looks up, everybody's dead, zombies included. And that's it for her. That, like, she makes it absolute month at most. That's generous. That's it. So she makes it a month. Blue Morpho and Butterfly make it until whenever they end up dying. Soul survives because... that armor is going to protect him. He's got superpowers. Now, the Gray. The Gray is hella smart.
Yeah. So she survived for a long time. Off of brains, but is she able to protect everybody around her?
You know, the issue with the Gray that we kind of tackle, and I don't know how to put it in, like, a single word. But, like, we know she wants to be a hero, but she can't fight. So but she didn't think about...
where are we in the story?
I'm imagining the beginning.
Gotcha.
Like, hey, I've made the suit. I've already got the gloves. Great. But, like, she has no hands. She just has the gloves. In a panic, we've seen her shoot the blast. Like, she will get overwhelmed. And I feel like she'll be like, yes, I have the outfit. I'm going to go out there and save these people. I've used the glove once before. And it put down those random thugs, right? Great. The radiation might do something to the decomposing human body, right? It might even...
but if there's too many at one time...
but if it's too many at one time...
that's why I said
she literally jumps to her death.
With her smarts, but it depends. Is she fighting or is she just surviving in a little community?
I imagine this. She's at home. She sees the news broadcast of people attacking one another. The zombies or whatever the case is. I can help. She suits up. This is the first time she suits up. She's got the gloves. She jumps down, saves.
She doesn't get a chance to snap because she'll die.
She doesn't get a chance to snap at all.
But
she goes in there,
dun dun dun, last a while.
Jumps down. All right, saves the first person. Is like great, shoots some blasts and stuff like that, and then exactly like we said, she gets overwhelmed. There's no time to snap. Now, let's be nice. She doesn't get overwhelmed. She doesn't die immediately.
I was just saying, if she doesn't die, if she lasts a while, I mean. She's given time to snap. It'd still take a while.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think she makes it a couple years.
She might not be. It would take her a while before she gets to anywhere where her friends and family are. She starts off not knowing where they are if they're even alive. So she's already, in a situation where she's just like, well, I have to just accept and grieve them. because I don't know where they are. She doesn't live close to her parents. She doesn't live close to her friends. Like,
yeah. So
they're not right down the street where she can go check on them.
Not at all. So, yeah, with that being said, then, absolutely. I think, again, with her smarts and stuff like that, if we're being generous, she'll survive. Whatever group she is anything going to be better? It disconnected it just now.
I know. So I'm looking at the stream.
There we go. It disconnected for a second if you guys saw that lapse just now. Yeah, so dumb. But yeah, so anyway, with that being said, I think she makes it a couple years. She makes it a couple years, but I don't feel like she survives the entire.
We're not talking about who dies. We're talking about who snaps.
Who snaps? She doesn't snap. Maybe if everything around her snaps, great. Gosh, I'm so dark. Why do I want to talk about everybody dying? Oh my god.
Because it's kind of... Anyway. Moving on.
Like, that was the first thing. I didn't even talk about snapping. I keep talking about, like, yeah.
Somewhere.
Anyway. Alright, next up we've got... That was the first line.
We can go to Raina and Kaya.
Raina and Kaya's not snapping.
I think they're fine.
They literally, in their first issue, and if you guys bought the issue at DreamCon, outstanding. They're literally fighting Legion in the first issue. We know.
I think out of the two of them, if anybody was likely to snap, it's Raina.
Oh, it'd be Raina.
She's young and inexperienced.
In case you guys don't know.
If she loses her mentor and something happens, there's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
She's just starting out in the demon hunting business.
Yeah, she just started. Yeah. Kaya's been in the game. She's been fighting demons, been training to fight demons from a very young age. Kaya right here is a distant descendant of David's Mighty Men. So again, they've been fighting beings, other entities and stuff for centuries. Raina, on the other hand, is a young lady who is not a demon hunter, has not been she is a demon hunter now, but hasn't been trained from early ages and stuff like that. She just got pulled into the fold.
Right. She's what, 20?
And yeah, she's like 20, like very early 20s.
She is a very smart and very skilled engineer. So.
Yeah, she's an engineer. She has spina bifida, so she does have a device on her back. Hopefully, throughout the course of this apocalypse, any of them, that doesn't get damaged, because what tech are you going to use to repair that, right? Now she's immobilized, right? If something happens to that tech.
Well, I mean, she still has.
But will either one of them snap?
Glory and stuff to at least kind of utilize.
Yeah, but Raina mentally isn't going to make it.
Not if she has to lose her brace now.
Yeah, even with the brace, we see in the
as
Dogma
long as
issue,
Kaya's still around, I think she'll be okay.
We see her cracking in the first issue of Dogma.
Because again, she's inexperienced. She's not used to all of this, and she
she
lost a bunch of people she doesn't even know.
Yeah, and even based on the direction that we're going with her,
Kaya, she doesn't have her lifeline anymore. Now, is anything gonna happen to Kaya? She probably not.
So, I'm not going to spoil that for Tasha. I know, I'm messing with you. Alright, so, we are going to talk about, well, there's two more Last Day characters, but there's nothing for them out to reference to you guys. They wouldn't snap, I don't think.
Nah.
And that's this character here.
Maybe somebody
this is Andros, and this is Tomas up here. Again, they've been fighting for centuries. They are a part of Adonai's disciples. They've been part of this battle against demons and monsters of this caliber. Their whole lives. So they're not snapping at all. They're the type that'll fall in battle protecting everybody else. So they're not snapping. So that's our Dogma characters, right? That's these guys. Right here, this whole section here, none of them. Raina will snap, but those three, there's no way they snap. This is their life.
If anything, Raina's in the same boat as Fatima, where it may take a few months.
In case you guys don't know, Fatima is Admani's actual name, and that's her right here. There we go. I just wanted to do that, like it's a marker on a board. All right, so we're gonna move on to. Am I getting in your way? I'm sorry. I mean, what does it set over? So then we have our characters here from the Last Day. That's this corner here. These guys here, Iabani's cracking immediately. He's a college student. He's got a cool weapon.
I'm gonna say Iabani's crack.
He's got a cool weapon.
Iabani's probably gonna crack at some point in time. Taro's probably going to crack at some
Him and
point in
Taro
time.
cracking first.
Ali's fine.
Taro, you'll
Taro's
see
already
an
cracked.
issue to what happened, but his
Taro's
literal
already
story
cracked,
is
so
him
it doesn't even
snapping.
matter what happens. He's gonna continue to snap. He's on a downward spiral. He literally is the first character of all the characters to snap because he's gonna be snapped before anything even actually gets started.
Yeah, they get their powers at a cost.
Congratulations, you win.
All three of them receive their powers at a cost. What that cost is, we'll go over in the actual story. And you'll get Iabani's story in the Tales from Midnight 2, which is a part of the Kickstarter, which is the Kickstarter that we have going on. Excuse me. So
That will be going on.
Iabani
starting
looks older, but
January
he's a college,
23rd.
which will be starting January 23rd. He's a college student, and we get to see he goes on a snack run, and a very unfortunate incident takes place. And in that unfortunate incident, you already start to see the cracks in his psyche. The very first issue that we see Taro in, same thing. Ali, on the other hand, she's got a little bit more of a stronger resolve. Again, without spoiling anything, an unfortunate incident takes place. A certain incident takes place. And when she's met with that immediate challenge,
She accepts it.
She accepts
is
it
what
and takes
you
it head
expect
on.
Of a bodybuilder.
right? So yeah,
Her goal is to be a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You expect someone like that to take any challenge
right.
and be like, "Oh, a challenge? Prove my strength? Let's go." So
Even that, like even her fight or flight is completely different from the two of them.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Iabani was like, I gotta run. Iabani is the black guy with the locks just now.
not that one.
Not this
other
one.
one with
the one with the circular
circles.
blade. Yeah. And so yeah, they're snapping. There's no whether. And again, we're talking about zombies. We're gonna go back over this and talk about xenomorphs, and then we'll end it because I know that'll be a nice long conversation. But yeah. So I had the last day characters. Huh?
Nothing.
Oh. The unbeloved characters as a whole. We'll do Raven's Omen first. We'll do the Ravenmocker. He's not snapping.
No, he's
At
gonna
all.
Do what he do.
He's gonna do what he does. I mean, look at this. Look at this guy. You think he's gonna be scared about some zombies? Do you think this guy is gonna, this being an entity, is gonna be scared of some zombies? No, not at all. Now, what could he actually do to the zombie? I mean, he's got the strength and durability and stuff like that.
Off.
Yeah.
Now he can still get bitten.
That's awful. I can't even imagine.
For the world, or if
For the world, yeah.
yeah.
Cause yeah, that's awful. Yeah, so the Ravenmocker, he is able to.
Research. Do your research.
There we go. All right, Dreamweaver. She. We'll omit her from this conversation. No, you know what? Based on what we have going on in her story, she has seen
Some
horror.
stuff.
She has seen terror.
Stuff.
Ground zero of a
Dang.
major catastrophe.
Wouldn't recommend any of it.
So she's seen loads of death, and pushed through it. But
She's
it wasn't
kind of
like a
like-
long form, constant catastrophe the way like an apocalypse could be.
Yeah.
The stress of it daily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really? I feel like she's like Shamika. She's the person that keeps the chipper mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But but unlike Shamika, she's also no nonsense. Where it's like, oh no, but I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I could dig that. Now, unbeloved characters, Tasha, talk to me. That should
All
be
right,
an easy one.
Izanagi, Izanami. They're having fun.
Literally smiling.
They don't care.
Literally smiling.
They chill. This is every day. This is life. This is the life. Yes. Woo. I love you. And I'm talking about them to each other.
Yeah.
Ebisu, where are we at?
The beginning of his story.
Beginning of chapter 1?
Yeah.
All
Which
right.
technically
He good.
he did snap. And he put himself in isolation following that.
Oh, the very beginning of chapter 1.
Oh, I don't like how that looks. Hold on.
Yeah. So the beginning of chapter 1, when they wash up on shore, or like right after?
I don't like any of that.
I didn't like any of that. Or are we like training arc?
We could do both.
I mean, we could.
By the time we
could honestly go
Ebisu.
chapter 2 because that's all out.
Yeah, by the time
everybody else we're doing what's out.
Yeah, by the time we see Ebisu, he has already recovered from having snapped based on the event that he survives.
I feel like as long as nothing happens to Hiriko and Aoshima, he's good.
Solid, right?
Hiriko, he's having fun. He's gonna be a little scared.
Aoshima,
she already on the verge of snapping.
yeah, she's barely holding it together. Yeah, in case you guys don't know the beloved characters, Izanagi, Izanami, Aoshima, Hiriko.
And then Ebisu.
And Ebisu is missing from this, but that's okay. Aoshima is cracking easily.
Shoot, as soon as Hiriko falls the wrong way.
If Hiriko trips, and he ain't got no legs, if he trips, she's snapping. Outside of that, we haven't seen any real crack in Hiriko yet. Again, he's the more optimistic, I'm going to be Hokage one day type kid, right? So, like, he will run into the face of danger and have fun with it. Again, Izanagi, Izanami, they're fine. They'll kill a bunch of zombies, titans, xenovores, and stuff like that for breakfast and be back in time to watch their favorite cartoon. Like, they're not worried about none of that at all. So, with all of that being said, here are the people that are definitely cracking. We've got Aoshima, if anything happens to her brother. Taro, Iabani, Fatima, and Reina. So, as it stands currently, the characters that, again, crack under the pressure of an apocalyptic situation would be those. If we move over to... And of course, I was trying to build out like a whole scenario on how it would legit play out, but that would take hours, right? It would be very specific scenarios again for something to happen with Soul. So in that event, he would snap. Again, like I said before, with the Blue Morpho and the Butterfly, I don't think unless something happened to Yara, the Butterfly's not going to snap. If something happens to Marianne, that's the Butterfly's actual name, I don't think Yara would snap. I mean, I don't think Yara would snap if anything happened to her mom. The Gray, she would be fine, but a lot of these other characters, again, they have seen and or lived through some really major, catastrophic events that most people would not be able to come back from. Right. So, with all that being said, those are the characters that would snap in a zombie apocalypse or an apocalyptic situation as a whole. Because hell, even if we switch over to like a Fallout type thing and nukes have dropped, right, and the radiation and all this other stuff, again, Soul doesn't really have much to worry about in regards to himself because of the protection that he gets from the suit and all of that. Same situation would still befall Fatima. I think, again, mentally, she wouldn't be able to grasp or really, not necessarily grasp, but not really be able to cope with any type of apocalyptic situation. But a lot of these characters, again, I think whatever scenario you put, the characters that we just stated that aren't able to cope with it, those are the people. There's no need to. So, okay. Oh, we're numbering it. Okay, hold on.
I mean, we weren't, but I'm just giving my thoughts.
Alright, so Tasha says, first off, we got the boy Taro. He's first. Who you got next? Iabani is number 2. Who else? Admani is number 3. Reina.
Oh,
Aoshima would be last. That's still the correct order. Because it's all dependent on if anything happens to my boy Hiriko. So, regardless of the scenario, whether it's a xenomorph invasion, alien, I mean, I guess those are aliens, but let's say a Dead Space scenario happens. Yeah, Alien, Predator. I was gonna say if a Dead Space scenario happens, which would be pretty doggone interesting, how people will react based on the markers and stuff like that. Ooh, that would be pretty cool. I almost call it the organization that was hunting the markers. Scientology. It's not Scientology. They're the Unitologists. Goodness gracious, the Unitologists. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. I'm thinking of a whole completely different scenario of what if these characters were in the Dead Space universe, and if the would Shamika Shamika in Dead Space, would she be with the Unitologist? She wouldn't be with the Unitologist. She'd be like Isaac trying to fight that, understanding the markers and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. That's when we can do Tasha. We were talking Dead Space.
All I heard was markers.
I was just like,
literally all I heard was markers.
What if it was a marker type scenario? You gotta fix that green screen. The marker type situation. For any of these characters, but I guess the same thing would still apply. It would be more interesting with characters like Fatima being affected by the markers, because they, of course, there's the voices and the hallucinations and stuff on top of the stuff that she's going through. Like, it would just be.
You know, I'm curious about how the markers would affect the Dogma character specifically.
I don't think the Dogma characters would be affected because the power that where they get their power from would protect them from that. So that they're fine, but like Izanami would fall for it. Izanami has her own thing on her. She would definitely be affected by it. Awashima
is losing her mind.
Awashima, it would be magnified.
Awashima's going full Isaac Clarke.
Yeah.
Powers.
Awashima might accidentally turn into a whole Unitologist. She would be drawn to the markers.
Yeah, probably.
Because of how her ability works.
Yeah.
The moment she'd be, yes, the markers. Yes, spread them across the universe. And we have to become one with the markers. She started Unitology, and if this happened. She started the Unitologist, bro.
You still got circles on there.
I do. Let's get rid of all of that. But yeah, I think those are the ones that I have X's still on there too. There we go. There we go. So outside of those characters, I don't think anybody else is cracking. So what we already showed is Taro, Iabani, Fatima. Is she? Oh boy, yeah, that would suck. Reina and Awashima. Those are the characters of ours that would snap. We do have a couple other characters that's going to be coming in the universe, but I don't think any of them would necessarily slap. Again, Ebisu, we did say Ebisu would snap because we've seen him. Well, we haven't necessarily seen him, but we know of his loss. We've seen his loss, and how he's had to cope with that over the last period of time before he even meets Hiroko and Awashima. That'll be a whole thing in a later chapter that we won't dive into right now, but he's still almost in grief mode, really, based on the incident that happened. And yeah, so Ebisu would be added to the list. And again, so in order, it would be Taro, Iabani, Fatima, aka Anmani, Reina, Ebisu, and Awashima. Because Awashima, again, is very situational based on if anything happens to her brother. So, I think that's it. Mm-hmm. Without me going into a whole 2-hour-long rant about specific scenarios and how each character will act in particular.
Because we don't need that right now.
Because we don't need that right now. We don't need it right now. So yeah, I didn't do as much coloring as I thought I was going to do during the course of this because I can't multitask.
That's why we have art streams specifically for you to color and chill.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and talk. So yeah. So what we're gonna say now is thank you guys for coming through the Patreon live stream. We're gonna do more of these and be a little bit more organized. Again, we're just now jumping back into the groove of it.
If you're not on the Patreon live stream and you're watching this video later, make sure you join Patreon to be part of the conversation.
Yes, and so what we'll do is we'll talk more about that through our various social media posts and all that good stuff. But of course, what we want to let you guys know or remind you all of is that we do have a Kickstarter popping off on January 23rd. It is in pre-launch right now, so we ask everybody that hasn't followed it yet to follow it right now, again, before the launch. We do have some early bird specials and stuff, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that when we launch. Be able to look at, because soon we're going to be doing several interviews on various channels talking about the Kickstarter, talking about the other projects that we're working on. We are gaming again, but I don't think it's going to be at the capacity that it used to be. Still missing the Gamers Haven days, but not wanting to bog down the comics stuff with gaming. So trying to figure out how to have a happy medium with that. But, we'll let you guys know as we do that. We're going to post on TikTok a lot more, Lord willing. And I think I've covered all of that. Last but not least, definitely follow us on our other social media platforms. So you can find us at Midnight Comics on Twitter, Midnight X Comics on Twitter, Midnight Comics on Instagram. Nope, it's at the bottom. Midnight Comics on YouTube, Midnight X Comics on Instagram, Midnight X Comics on Twitter, Midnight Comics on TikTok.
Midnight X Comics on TikTok. I don't remember where it's Midnight Comics at. I think that's Twitter, actually.
Midnight Comics on Facebook. Everything else is Midnight X Comics, except for on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Aren't available right now, but I'll let you guys know here first that physical copies of the books will be coming back soon. We'll be back in stock with all of those within the next week or two. So by the end of January,
no later than the end of the month.
By the end of January, you'll be able to order physical copies of the books. And, of course, the Kickstarter will be in full swing by that point in time as well. So you'll be able to get not only Tales from Midnight Issue 1, all the issues of The Unbeloved, the Super Team book, which, in case you guys don't know, is on pre-order right now, of course, in preparation for us to get the physical books in. But you can also get the digital right now. Again, it's called The Powers That Be Super Team. It's that collaborative project that we worked on with the Powerverse. It's book 104. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Soul is in it, so if you guys like our character Soul, he is in that book. So you get to see the role that he's going to play, and when he kind of gets picked up. This year, however, of course, every year we're going to see The Unbeloved. That's usually on track.
Usually at least twice. Usually twice a year.
Yeah, once to twice a year you're getting The Unbeloved. Tales from Midnight, of course, you're getting this year. You should be getting, and again, it's a 4-part series, so you should be getting 2 more issues of the Super Team book this year, with the last one coming in 2024. And then Soul and the Gray will drop this year as well, summer and spring, respectively. So, yeah, you guys get 4 books this year from Midnight Comics. 5 if you want to count. More 6 if you want to count.
Maybe more if we get lucky, hey.
Yeah, more if we get lucky. 2024, I also want to drop the next issue of Dogma. But, again, that all depends on how the rest of this year goes. So, thank you guys for your continued support. Again, follow us on those various social media pages, and we will see you guys tomorrow for our DC Universe Online stream. That'll be public. That'll be on the YouTube. You'll see me. I'll be playing with some of the fellas from Concrete Comics, as well as some other indie comic groups.
If I get DC back on my system after I get rid of some stuff, then maybe I'll be on.
Yeah, and we're going to play as our characters.
I have Money on mine.
Yeah, she does have Money on hers. I have the gray on mine. But yeah, and what we do with that is soon you'll see that we'll do a audio drama with some of the adventures. But if you want to read up on some of the adventures that we already did, we do have them available as blog posts on midnightcomics.org. So you can kind of read, again, the adventures that we went on with the various characters and stuff. Again, I'm playing as the Gray right now, so that's what you're going to get majority of.
And of course, like with everything else, Patreon will get first dibs. Patreon will see episodes early before they drop, and then they will drop on our YouTube channel.
Yep. So, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can answer that phone call probably.
Okay. So, guys, again, thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for watching the live stream. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching this as well. And we will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There we go.